Good evening, our dear grade 6 students. Wish you a good day and wish you a good listening to our today's student about thermal energy. The first lesson of Unit 2 talk about thermal energy. We know from the previous lessons in grade 4 that thermal mean heat, feeling warm, feeling heat. So heat is a form of energy, and we know that energy ability to do work and or make a change. That means heat can or heat one form of energy. Okay, let's start with the definition of heat and forms of heat. And heat can form and transform from one object to another object. What cases that heat can transform from it, and heat can transfer from the least or cold to the hot object or no. Let's start. Heat conduction. Heat is a form of energy that is important for many uses and purposes for us. Let's remember you, or let's remind you that energy ability to do work and make a change. Heat energy produced by the fire or electric heater or the sun that makes us feel warm during cold weather, during the winter. Heat energy transfer from the electric heater or fire or your body or your hot object to the cold object, and no in the opposite direction. Okay, let's know the uses or purposes of heat conduction. Uses of heat energy or heat conduction: we use heat to cook our food. We use heat to keep ourselves warm during the winters. We use heat energy from the sun to dry our washed clothes. We run our vehicles using heat energy generated by burning petrol. To move the vehicles of cars or bicycle, we can use heat by the friction. Okay, sources of heat. We can take heat from the sun, from the electric heater, and some of heat from the lamp, heat and light. Okay, so from these statements, these phrases, we can understand that heat energy, it is a form of energy that transfers from the higher temperature of object to the lower temperature of object. Miss, that means when I hold a piece of ice between my hand, I'll feel cold. Why? Because my body is hot or higher temperature than the ice. So I feel cold because my body transfer the hot to the ice, and I feel coldness. I feel the cold of ice. In another example, when you hold a hot cup of tea between your hand, you feel hot. Why? Because cup of tea is more higher temperature than my body, so I feel hot. There is difference between temperature and heat. Heat, we according that form of energy, but temperature, the degree, the point of hotness or coldness of a body. Hotness or coldness of a body. That mean temperature degree, mean temperature like boiling point, like melting point degree. The body reaches to it when it is hot or cold. Measuring a device of temperature called thermometers. So heat, form of energy, temperature, degree of hotness or coldness. There are some materials help us to transfer heat. We have talked about that materials or these materials in grade 4. If you remember, these materials, iron, copper, and aluminum, let's remind some points about it. If we near some materials made from wood, made from plastic, made from aluminum, made from copper, to the fire or to the candle, lightning candle, what will you observe? I'll observe that I feel heat in some of materials, like spoon made of aluminum, like copper, like iron, but I don't feel heat in a pencil that made of wood, ruler well melting. Yes. What will we observe? We observe that materials transfer heat to me, iron, copper, aluminum. Miss, yes, these materials, we studied it in grade 4, that metallic, yes, metals. Metallic materials that heat can flow through it, like a spoon, like a copper, like iron, like aluminum. Yes, Miss, finding some materials that heat flow through it mean that there are materials can't flow the heat through it? Yes, logically, when we know that there are some materials good conduct of heat, that means there are another materials bad conductors of heat. Like what? Like wood, plastic, that can't flow heat through it. Okay. Heat conductors, materials that good conductors of heat and materials that bad conductors of heat. Let's start with materials good conductors of heat, like copper and aluminum and iron, that can flow the heat through it. But wood, plastic, paper, wool, rubber, air are bad conductors of heat, so can't flow heat through it. Life application on heat as insulators and heat conductors. We called the materials that good conductors of heat conductors, but materials that can't flow heat through it, we called it heat insulators. Okay. Heat insulators, like air. Miss, we said that air, wood, plastic, paper, and other materials can't flow heat through it, so we called it heat insulators. Like air. So air as an example of heat insulators, so we can consider, or we can useful from air as a bad conductor of heat to making insulating glass windows, like this. This is a glass windows, and air spaces between two glasses of sheet. What will useful from these air spaces? This air spaces leakage prevent leakage heat through it. prevent leakage heat through it. What's the meaning of leakage? Leakage mean that pass or cross. Prevent cross heat to passing through it. Prevent leakage heat through it. So we in summer days it prevent heat to join to us. What is air spaces between glass sheet we useful from the air as example of heat insulators to making insulating glass windows. We put or binding two glass sheet together like this, two glass sheet together, and between it air spaces to prevent leakage heat through it, or to prevent pass, to prevent cross heat through it. Okay, from the insulators materials, woolen clothes like this. Woolen clothes give us warm in the winter days. Winter days is very cold, so we need some woolen clothes to give us or to keep bodies warm, to prevent leakage of heat. We according that leakage is pass or cross. Okay, what we useful from the heat conductors or good conductors of heat, like iron. If we look at the railway bars, like this, railway bars, its construction mean building. Construction mean making, manufacturing it from the iron material. Why special iron? Because iron has or a good conductors of heat, so expand by heating. Expand. If you remember the properties of metals that can expand by heat, expand in a higher temperature of heat. So can twist it like this, can twist it by with a higher temperature, can twist it through walking the or through passing the train on it, and avoid trains from accidents. So the rail bars have spaces between them, and making the rail bar from iron, not any other material like this. We can see the spaces in opposite of it, one like this, and made from iron. Why? To expand in hot weather and twist it to avoid trains accidents. So we use from iron as a good conductors of heat. Okay. There are other materials. All metals therefore are good conductors of heat. There are metals high conductors of heat like copper, and least like aluminum, and least like iron. So iron is the less in the column of conductors of heat. The higher metal conduct heat, copper. After it, aluminum. Sequence it, iron. There is another usage of heat conductors and heat insulators. Aluminum and stainless steel. We can making a cooking pots or utensils like a cooking pot and kettles from stainless steel and aluminum. Why? Because aluminum is a good conductor of heat. Plastic and wood as a heat insulators. They are used in handles, cooking pots, and electric iron kettles. Why? Because it bad conductors of heat and bad conductors of another things, electricity. Wool as a heat insulators. Why? It is used in making heavy blankets, like we said. Why? To give us warm and heat in the winter days, like this woolen clothes as a heat insulators. We can useful from heat in many usages in industry, such as making and processing food, glass industry, paper industry, textile industry. Okay, wish you a good understand and thank you for listening. Let's start with another lesson in this unit. If you have any question, you can send it to me. Thank you. Goodbye.